Welcome back. In last tutorial we learned about how we can utilize the power of HTML. I showed you 5 unique ways to do that also. In this particular video I will be sharing you everything about body element. We will be learning some of the most basic concepts like what are block level elements, what are inline elements. We will look into how we can create new lines, we can add paragraphs, we can have some type of specific characters also. Also we will look at what is white space collapsing and entity characters for HTML. Finally we will be having a quick validation, and at last I will be sharing you some of the tips that can help you to become a better web developer in your journey. So don't skip the video, because at last I will also be sharing some of the important updates for the next video, and I highly request you that you please watch till the end and practice whatever you have learned. So with this, let's get started. In today's tutorial, we are actually going to build an about me page. Also in the process, we will be learning about how different tags of body element can be utilized to create structure of web page along with some code tips of VS. So let's get started by setting up our workspace. So guys, as you can see, I have already opened our directory, and to save time, what I have done is I have actually created a couple of files in this body element folder, and let's quickly review all of them. First of all, this is index.html, which is a very bare minimum boilerplate that we have created taken from head.html file from this. Second is main.css. If you remember, we have actually changed how the web page, front page should look. It is that CSS file which I have already embedded in this main.css. Also, we are having a cd.png file, which is actually our logo. We are going, and if you remember, we have utilized it for our favicon, but we will look into more uses in the later part. So now that our workspace setup is ready, let's add a structure to our web page using different HTML elements and tags. Before moving on, let's get back to our traditional work structure, that is basically opening this HTML file and moving it sideways. Also, I am actually going to enable word wrap. It's also already enabled, or you can use Alt G to enable word wrap. What it does is it makes your typing very easy. You don't have to scroll through. You can see this, right? Now, what I am going to do first is I am actually going to change this. This title should be about me. As soon as I change, you can see that about me has been changed. Next up, we can actually add sections using this heading, and I am going to show you how we can do that. So if you remember, H1 basically represents heading at the level 1, and we are having a different type of headings. So if I just change this H1 any H, you can see that we are having H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and what does it means is it has different level of value. For example, if I use H1, it will be the largest one, and H6 will be the smallest one. So let's quickly do that. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a couple of sections here, and this is how I'm going to do it. First of all, I am going to add intro to my page. You can see that I am having intro. So rather than doing it like copying and pasting, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add Shift, Alt, and down arrow. We are going to make a couple of sections. Next, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to make then what skills I have, and finally, if my education is important, you can add it. As you skip, it is up to you. Finally, I want to add you can contact. Now, one basic thing that you have to take care is that add some type of meaning, so that it should have different level of importance. For example, intro is the most important part, so I have given it H1. But if I want to change this project skill education, I am giving it a very little less importance. For that, what I am going to do is I am actually making it again H2. After people will go through all of these things, First of all, they will look for intro, so it should be catchy, and they will only spend 3 seconds for watching that or reading that. So make it catchy. Once they go through that, they will look into your projects and then skills and then education part. Finally, what they will do is, if they will like, yes, you have what they need, they will actually contact you. So I have even contact a very low level of semantic. By the way, this entire structure has created a very bare minimum structure. Now let's look at how to leverage the very easy way to make a structure around this each of the headers. So the way we are going to actually do this is by using something called as paragraph. And if you remember, paragraph is what you already know. It is how the paragraph works. It has different things inside it. What the paragraph does in HTML is it creates additional spacing or line or margins which are not visible, but it gives their own block label. If I say like he, but just random name. If I do it, it will not be visible. But if I click on inspect and if I go to he butter, you can see there is an additional spacing, which is what I mean when I said add it into the paragraph. It creates additional spacing. So now let's add the actual content from, and the way I am going to do it, I am actually going to take my resume and adding some of the things that I have in there. So let me just copy paste that. Yes, let me first remove it, and then I will paste everything that I want. So let us keep it like this only. Later we will be changing things, but for now let's add projects, and let's fill the rest of the part in the, and again what I'm going to do is I'm again going to use paragraph because I want it to have a nice structure, nice margin. Everything should be inside a block type of feel. It should feel like there is something that is making it look fancy. So that's how I'm going to add all of the things. Let me fast forward it. Finally, the contact part. So contact part I will be adding later on. For now, I have just completed. And you can see it looks like yes, we are having, there is a gap in between because of this paragraph. And as you can see, these things are not on a new line if I have added. It is not here in the new line. So we will fix that for the next. If you can see that if I change it, really interested this one, and you can see it is on a new line here, so it is not being read by the web page. So how we can do that? So actually what we can do is we can actually use something called PR, that is short form of break, or you can call it as a break tag. And as soon as I add this, you can see that it is on a new line. You can add as many BR tags as you require, and it will add a new line for now. And if you don't add BR tag, it will not be recognized. BR basically tells the HTML that there is a break, so you should break the line. Also, you don't need to always type the BR if you are using CSS. But since we are not going to dive into advanced CSS, so that's why I have just kept it simple like BR tag. Again, let me fast forward it. This is how now my small web page about me section look like. And again, you can see that we are having spacing due to our tag and new line due to our BR tag. But there is a lot of things that we can add to our this section. First of all, the thing that I want to add is something called as contact. Contact, we want HTML that it understands that yes, this is a contact. So what we are going to use is actually something called as address tag, and address actually emphasizes that it is an address. Let's add that portion. You don't even require this p tag for this one because this will be the last section. So you can or may not, it is up to you. So let me add out my address here. can see that this contact address has been you can see that has been italicized and has been slacked. This is how contact address. Now let's actually make this into a section. So for sections, what we can do is we can actually create a lining for each after each of the sections. For that, we are going to actually HR, which is horizontal tool, and what it does it actually creates a lining around the scene. Again, for skills, I am going to do the same thing. HR again, and again, this is a self-closing tag, so you don't even need to add something. And you might be thinking why I am going to add this HR from here. This is because we are actually going to add something below this also. That is for the one. So let's look at this section is really interesting, guys, because in this section I am going to tell you about some of the HTML reserved keywords, which we call as HTML entities also. We can utilize, and the reason we are going to utilize is they actually give some context. And if I use this one, you can see that it will take it like HR or anything. If I add it, yeah, so you can see that this is how it looks like. It's not a great thing. So what we can do is we can actually use HTML entities to create this. For example, can use ET, L and percent, LT, and then this. You can see we are having this thing, right? You can add as unlimited as many as you want. It doesn't matter. Again, for copyright, we are having again a single called and copy colon. Now you can add some text to it. Let's say HS ring time. And now for the same counterpart, we are having something called as GT, which is greater than again GT. Now it looks much more nicer. That means that yes, you have created this. This is a good way to use stable entities. Also, again, you can use the same thing here. If you see, if I add something here, say like 10 out of 9, that is, I am rating this, and you can see here that actually it is not being displayed, right? What we can do is we can again use HTML entity for this, and the way we are going to do this is like a and NVSP and colon. What it does, it created a small line here. You can add as many as you want, but for now, let me give it like this. I am going to give ratings to each of my skills, and it will provide some value to the audience or anyone who is looking at my resume. I'm just to save time, I'm just going to copy paste. And now you can see that it has been cluttered. So what I suggest is divide this entire section into two parts. One part for hard skills, basically coding skills and all those things, and one for software skills, basically communication skills and other things like that. Now look at this, guys. Clearly explains the recruiter what you have. If they plan to see your skills, they can clearly see that you have this level and this degree of skills. And these are the most common ways that most of the site actually evaluates your performance based on your resume. Now let's see if we have missed something. What we can do now is we can change this meta name. We can actually add this to portfolio and portfolio. The content that I'm going to use is actually I'm going to add something for my name. Let's say this is my resume. This is my about me page, and I want action and people to visit and look at my. This is all. And obviously you know that it will not be displayed. Again, you know this is from week 2, so go and watch that you require. Finally, let's add couple of more things. So let's look into that. So sometimes what happens, you actually want that recruiter or anyone who is seeing your page should catch attention. So you can actually emphasize some of the words. There are many ways you can emphasize, but the basic way that I am going to show you is EM tag. You can even use italic and bold. For italic, you can use I, which again comes in pair, or you can use B, which makes the text bold. But if you want to combine both of them, then you can use something called as EM tag. Basically, EM full form means emphasis and emphasizes the sum of the text so that people can look at, yes, this is the part that they need one want them to see. What I'm going to do is just create EM tag, and whatever you want to emphasize, just paste it inside or make it inside the EM tag, and you can see that it has already been bold. Even it has been very little bit of italicized. Let me fast forward it. And now if you see, this is how I maximize this. Due to BR, we are having a new line and all thing has been emphasized. You can add as many things, but since this is a demo purpose, so I'm not going to add this. This is how you can use emphasis tag. For next part, let's add some abbreviations and how you can utilize abbreviations. So now as Gen Z is approaching and different things are going to take place like Web3 and everything. So we actually try to make things concise. For that, what we do is we actually use abbreviations which you have already used a lot in this one. If you see like KSGM, AWS, and HTML, JSON, everything like that. So what you can do is you can actually make it full length, that is actual name, but it will be still be concise. And for that, what we can use is actually we can use a ABBR tag, which literally means abbreviation. Anything that goes this inside this ABBR tag can be extended using a tooltip, will be available. But for that, you have to use some attribute called title, and it will actually give you the title. So let me just copy the name of my college. And this is how you can see that a small dot has appeared, and if I click on this, I just hover it here, you can see there is full name of what we wanted. Again, let's add the same things with different parts of this page. Like we have used ABBR, right? Here AWS, we have used AWS. What AWS means. I want to add, so I can add ABBR, and we all know what AWS. We actually know what AWS. Amazon Web Services, Amazon Web Services. By the way, I am going to make some new videos once we complete this HTML on AWS. Whatever I have learned, so stay tuned with that also. Fast forward. Now, Azure, we know that is Microsoft. Let's add this JSON to here as a theme. Also, you should note that ABR should always work with title. Don't forget to mention the title. Maybe I'm wrong, but let me correct for the sake of this video. We all know HTML. We are currently learning it, right? Also, what I wanted is from the next video onwards, please try to carry with me so we can work together. If you will have request, we can have a live session also, so that I code and you code and we can interact that way also. Hypertext markup language. Again, we have added, right? Clear it, add this, and it's that, right? JSON, HTML, JSON, hypertext markup language. M is small, let me make it capital. Now, this is how our web page is. But let's add the final ingredient of today's tutorial, that is images. Or you can add image to this one, and for the image I am actually going to use this putting the Aries image on, and that it looks nicer. Also, let me tell you one thing, that it will not be a very responsive one because we have not yet gone into CSS and everything like that, and even not in the JavaScript, which we will cover in the later sections. In another tutorial also you can see. Let's proceed with that. So to add images, what we are going to use is actually we are going to add img tag, and it has an attribute called src, which will take the source of this. And if I do cd dot, you see that it is there. If I close it, you see a small image has been created. We can even add our own title, anything like that, but we are not going to do it here for now. There are many attributes which you can explore. It will be a homework for you. I hope that you will enjoy this homework. Anybody, no one likes homework, right? But it makes you a good work. And as a final touch, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add links. For links, what I here I have seen somewhere that publications. I'm going to actually add link to this publication so that you can visit my page also. Recently, I have uploaded a new article there. You can go and visit that. It is up to you though. Publications. It has a attribute called href, which is hyper reference, and you can see that already changed, but it will not work because nothing is there, right? So we can actually add links to this part. I'm going to do it. And now we are having, you can see that this. Now let's make a little bit prettier. Entire code should be a little bit prettier, right guys? So let's use prettier extension to format. Now it looks much for prettier. You can, again I will refer to watch week 1, where we have successfully created a very easy to understand and productive VS Code workspace for everything that we are going to use. Is basically extension, and I have told you some important extensions that we will be using throughout this entire tutorials. All the tutorials that I will be using in the past also, in the coming previous weeks also. For now, if you open this, it will open in a new tab. We are going to do is we are open it in a new. This is my entire page. You can visit here and you can have some knowledge about data science and machine learning. Also, recently I have started writing about AWS. Go and watch that, read that also if you feel like you can do it. And Jupyter Notebook is something which we use in AWS. So finally, this is how we have created our very small, bare minimum about me page. I know that it is not a very great feat to achieve, but as a beginner, I think that it will be a lot helpful in your journey. So I feel like yes, it should be, because everything that we learn practically is far more useful than what we just do in rote learning. So I have come up with this interesting way. Hope you like the content, and do check out my other videos. And if you have got any value, please share it so others can get benefits. This is a very important section. These are basically the concepts that we have skipped. First of all, I think that concept is very important. So let me first explain some of the concepts. First concept you have already experienced beforehand. Basically, when you create some type of white spacing, it is ignored by the HTML web page or any type of files. Right. So for that, it has been given a term called white space collapse. Another thing that I want to make clear about, what is the difference between this p tag and this em tag and this nbsp tag. Basically, there are two type of tags in HTML. First is called block label and another is called inline label. Block label are the tags that actually create some type of a spacing around it. See, you remember that we have added paragraphs, right? You can see this intro h1 is again in this. There is spacing around it. You can see it is visible and brown. But inline tags are something which actually doesn't create any type of spacing, and you can use it to customize your way how your images looks and how it feels. Even though you can use CSS to do that, but I have explained to you in a very simple term how the level element works. Also, there are certain things that you should take care. There are two type of tags which we will be looking later on. First one is actually a paragraph tag, which already you see, and also there is something called as division tag. You should not use both together. Please take care. Don't use div and paragraph together, they are separately different. Basically, when you go for advanced, we don't use paragraph, or if we use paragraph, we don't use div tag. It is up to you how you choose, but don't use them together. Also, second one, H1 should be only one because it is the main content. It should be always used for the main heading and not for the others. You can use any other create sections, but don't use the one more than one H1 tag. And finally, there I have already added the links, but there are different type of links. If I don't click it, it will be white. If I click it, it will be that is visited. It will be purple. That's it. I hope that you got the thing that I wanted to understand, and also I'm extremely sorry that this content, although it was recorded, but I was not able to publish it because of some of my issues. But I hope that I will be able to publish more and more type of content for you guys so that you can get benefit. For the next part, what we are going to do is we are going to dive deep into the body element, and we are going to look into some of the list and links that we can use, and we will look into how different ways we can combine these links and tables and lists so that we can make our web page more attractive. That's it. See you later.